Welcome to Hong Kong Blu-rays.
So after a little bit of a hiatus, we're returning to our Wong Kar-Wai with Mum series.
And the film for today is 2046.
This is HKB, and I'm Shaz.
I'm Leon.
It's great to have you with us today.
So, this Wong Kar-Wai series, we haven't done one for quite a while. And it was a little project that we started a while back. We thought it'd be nice to get a different perspective on these films. So, when we got the Criterion box set, we thought, let's take this to Mum. She likes the films as well. Let's get a different, fresh perspective. So, we'll carry on today with 2046, and this is what Mum had to say. Wong Kar-Wai with Mum, episode 4. So this time round we watched 2046, which concludes the trilogy that starts with Days of Being Wild, and then follows up with In the Mood for Love, and then follows Tony Leung's character through into 2046. So what did you think of Tony Leung in this one? He had like 3 sort of primary relationships, and the one that it starts with and kind of goes back to at the end is the one with the Black Spider, Gong Li's character. How did you think that relationship played out in the film, Mum?
I think he had a lot of regrets, and I also think that she was his lover that was married. And I think that she was punished. That's why she wore the black glove all the time. And I think that he had a chance to be happy, but never took it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take on it. I like that take on it. Yeah, that's fantastic. And then he kind of moved on in the film, and when his neighbour moved into the 2046 apartment that he originally wanted from the previous film, she's played by Zhang Zi-Yi, slightly younger, sort of very pretty but very lively. How do you think that went with her?
Well, I think he could have had a lot of love if he'd give love, but he just seemed to use the women in his life. He wasn't actually a very nice character at the beginning. In fact, I got really cross with him for the way he treated his partners.
Yeah.
Many of them.
Yeah, she seemed like a nice enough person, but like he had a commitment problem.
That's right, yeah, you're right.
And then he kind of had a separate relationship with the landlord's daughter.
Yes.
The youngest one,
yeah,
Faye Wong. How do you think that kind of played out?
Well, I think that could have been good for him, because I think she liked him. And I think, yeah, he could have, if he treated women different earlier in his life, he could have been in love and married somebody, because I think they've all loved him.
Yeah.
He just used them, and I didn't like the fact that he was using these women.
All right. So to sum up this film, because it's quite different to the other ones, how would you rate it compared to the other two, and what would you give as your overall score?
I would give it a 6.
Right.
Because I still enjoyed the film, and I loved the ending, but I just wanted him to be happy, and it didn't happen.
No. Cool. But you're glad you've seen this particular trilogy, Wong Kar-Wai?
Yes,
That's
yes,
good.
I am.
And you rate the acting as okay?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I think you overact sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We will be back next time, folks. Yeah. And the next one will be Chungking Express. So we will see you then. Thank you, Mum.
All right, my love. Bye.
So, some interesting points raised there by Mum, I feel. What do you think?
Definitely. Yeah, well, I quite agree with her actually, with the way Tony Leung's character treated some of the ladies.
Yeah, he was a bit harsh, wasn't he? I'd say he was probably a bit more disconnected than some of the women that he was picturing as androids in the story that he was writing. So he was probably more like an android than them, because he wouldn't give out his heart, so I'd say.
That's a good take on it actually. I didn't think of it like that. Just sort of thought he was just really cold to these women, and they were really into him.
I think it's because he was hurt previously, you know, in the previous films, losing Maggie Cheung, and he just wouldn't put himself out there and was kind of doomed. You know, there's a big feeling of melancholy with Wong Kar-Wai films, and this definitely has that sort of feel to it. And as artistic as it is, and it looks lavish, it looks beautiful. I'm sure you can agree with me on that.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But whereas I like to immerse myself in this sort of indulgent filmmaking, perhaps not quite so much for you.
No, I found it a bit overly long in some scenes. Like you say, a bit overindulgent and just a bit unnecessary. Just sort of made me lose my grasp of what was going on. Because we've watched it a few times now over the years, and I'm just still quite confused by some of it, or I find it really difficult to piece the story together as you're watching it, because you're going, you know, different things happening, and then on the train, and then I'm trying to figure out who he is, you know, who his character is meant to be on the train, and what that means. So for me, it was just a bit too complex.
Yeah. Well, I've had a very long sort of period of time where I've got to grow and love these films, and you know, I love the ladies of Hong Kong cinema, and you have Gong Li, Zhang Zi-Yi and Faye Wong in this, and you know, Carina Lau as well pops up, and we have a brief glimpse of Maggie Cheung, so you know, it's really nice to see all them in one movie. And the good thing for me is that everybody in this film can act, regardless of not you like the way it's structured. It's acted pretty well, I'd say. I enjoy it. I enjoy it an awful lot. Perhaps not quite so much as some of the other Wong Kar-Wai ones. You know, maybe I might have trimmed out some of the futuristic stuff. For me, this is still a solid. Yeah. Still
I think you didn't really need his story on the train. Or did you?
I don't know. I kind of appreciate it, but also, what would the film be like without it? You know, because then it would feel more of a complete trilogy, because it would all be the same style. Yeah,
and it did tie up the other two films, didn't it?
It did. I think it makes a nice trilogy overall. Some people look at them as separate films, but you know, you got the same characters. You got a follow through. Leslie Chung's character's talked about by Lulu, and you know, it's all in there. So yeah, thumbs up for me. I'm giving this one an 8 out of 10.
Well, I agree with Mum, and I'm scoring this one 6 out of 10.
So there you go, folks. Join us for the next instalment next time. And remember, guys, be true and buy the blue.